Imagine you're having an ordinary work day, going about your routine activities. Suddenly, a small accident completely changes the course of your life. That's exactly what happened to Richard James. In a moment of distraction, he dropped a spring on the floor, and as he watched it move in an unusual way, a thought began to grow. He had discovered something that would change his life, and also the history of toys. The story of how Richard Thompson James went from obscurity to wealth is marked by moments of brilliance, personal challenges, and unexpected changes in direction. Stay with me until the end of this video, and you'll learn about the fascinating journey of a man who, with a simple object, became one of the greatest toy inventors of all time. Richard James was born in 1914 into a typical middle-class American family. From a young age, he showed an insatiable curiosity about how things around him worked. He was the kind of child who would take apart clocks and radios to discover their inner workings. The support of his parents, John and Mary James, was crucial for Richard to pursue his interest in science and mathematics. They always encouraged him to explore the world around him, and when it came time to choose a career, engineering was the natural path. After graduating in engineering, Richard began working as a naval engineer. His job was to improve the stability of equipment on ships, especially during World War II. It was essential work for the war effort, but far from exciting. He and his wife, Betty, led a simple life, struggling to keep their finances in order, like so many other families at the time. Financial difficulties were a part of their reality, and the dream of wealth or success seemed distant. Richard was a methodical, discreet, and determined man. He was fascinated by the mechanics of things and had a curious mind, always searching for practical solutions to everyday problems. However, he never imagined that his passion for engineering would lead him into the world of toys, an area so different from his training. This is the fascinating part of Richard James's story. How someone with a technical and logical spirit, in a moment of pure chance, ended up creating something that would delight generations. It was during an ordinary workday that the pivotal moment in Richard's life occurred. While working on a ship, developing springs to stabilize sensitive instruments, Richard accidentally dropped one of these springs on the floor. Instead of simply falling and staying still, the spring began to move in an unusual way. It seemed to glide across the floor, almost as if it had a life of its own. Richard, surprised by what he had just seen, became fascinated by the spring's smooth and graceful movement. The spring didn't just fall, but moved from one point to another in a continuous manner, creating a hypnotic visual effect. This small accident sparked an idea. Maybe this spring had potential to be more than just a mechanical component. He began to think about how he could turn this fascinating movement into a toy that would capture the imagination of both children and adults. In the days and weeks that followed, Richard tested different types of springs at home, exploring the best shape and material to ensure that the magical effect remained consistent. He realized that, to turn his discovery into a functional toy, he would need a specific design and a durable material. The spring that would later become known as the Slinky was made of steel, with the perfect strength and flexibility to create the desired movement. It was during this early experimental phase that his wife, Betty, proved to be a crucial partner. She supported Richard in his quest, and was the one who suggested the name Slinky, a word that conveys the idea of something sleek and graceful, characteristics that perfectly captured the spring's movement. Betty's decision was key, as it gave the toy a memorable and catchy identity. Despite the excitement about the discovery, turning the Slinky into a commercial product was not easy. Richard and Betty faced numerous obstacles at the beginning. To start with, they needed funding to manufacture the toy on a large scale. But no one seemed interested in investing in the idea of a spring that moves by itself. Several investors rejected them, claiming that the product was too simple to have commercial appeal. Additionally, finding a manufacturer willing to produce the Slinky was also a challenge. Most manufacturers thought the toy wouldn't have a market, or that the public wouldn't understand how to use it. Richard and Betty almost gave up at times, but their determination and belief in the Slinky's potential kept them going. Finally, after much effort, they found a small manufacturer willing to produce the first 400 units of the Slinky. This was a pivotal moment, but one big question remained. Would people actually be interested in the toy? The first public test of the Slinky took place in November 1945, in a toy store in Philadelphia. Richard and Betty were anxious, unsure of how people would react to seeing the Slinky for the first time. They placed the toy at the top of a small set of stairs in the store, and as the spring began to move down the steps, the crowd was immediately fascinated. Children and adults watched in awe as the spring seemed to walk down the stairs, moving fluidly and continuously. The success was immediate. In less than 2 hours, all 400 units of the Slinky had been sold. Richard and Betty were amazed at how quickly the toy sold out, and realized they had something truly special in their hands. The launch of the Slinky was a true phenomenon, and soon the toy became a nationwide sensation. As the holiday season approached, demand for the Slinky skyrocketed, and Richard's small invention transformed into one of the most popular toys in the United States. With the success of the Slinky, Richard James's life changed drastically. He went from being an unknown naval engineer to one of the most recognized names in the toy industry. Fame came quickly, and the Slinky soon became part of American pop culture. TV shows, newspapers, and magazines mentioned the toy, and it was quickly adopted by millions of families. The financial rise was equally impressive. Richard and Betty began to enjoy a more comfortable life, with a new house, modern cars, and a much higher standard of living than they had ever known before. But not everything was easy in this new phase of their lives. The pressure of success and wealth brought new challenges for Richard. He began to feel overwhelmed by the responsibility of maintaining the Slinky's success and by the fame that came with his invention. Seeking relief from the stress, Richard started getting involved with religious groups and spiritual movements, looking for answers to his inner restlessness. This new interest in spirituality began to create distance between him and Betty, and tensions in their marriage increased. While Richard grew more detached from family life, Betty continued to manage the business, trying to keep the company on the right track. As time went on, Richard became increasingly obsessed with his new spiritual beliefs. In a drastic move, he decided to leave everything behind: his company, his family, and his life in the United States, to join a religious community in Bolivia. For many, it was a shocking decision, but for Richard, it was a quest for a new purpose. Betty, now on her own, was left with the responsibility of running the business and taking care of their children. Although Richard was physically absent, the legacy of the Slinky continued to grow. Betty took full control of the business and did everything she could to ensure that the toy remained successful. With Richard out of the picture, Betty proved to be an exceptional leader. She reorganized the company, made strategic decisions, and kept the Slinky relevant in the market for decades. Under her leadership, The Slinky underwent new advertising campaigns, expansions, and marketing revamps that kept the toy popular for generations. Betty's resilience was one of the main reasons the Slinky continued to thrive. She faced challenges, both personal and professional, but never gave up on preserving the legacy that she and Richard had built together. Her work was crucial in ensuring that the Slinky became an enduring icon. The Slinky became much more than just a toy. Over the years, it made appearances in movies like Toy Story, was mentioned in songs, and became a symbol of creativity and simplicity. The spring that elegantly walks downstairs earned a special place in pop culture and the collective imagination. More than that, the Slinky is a testament to the power of a simple idea. It showed that with perseverance and vision, even the most modest concepts can turn into global phenomena. The Slinky not only brought joy to millions of children around the world, but also proved that success can come from the most unexpected places. The story of Richard and Betty James is an inspiring example of perseverance, innovation, and overcoming adversity. Richard's journey, from the accidental discovery of the spring to its transformation into a worldwide toy sensation, shows that great ideas can arise from the most unexpected moments. Betty, on the other hand, is a testament to resilience and determination, keeping the business alive and thriving even in the face of challenges. The Slinky remains an icon to this day, fondly remembered by generations. It teaches us that simplicity can be powerful, and that creativity, combined with courage, can transform lives and create lasting legacies. So, did you enjoy this story? If you want to learn more curiosities like this one, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates, and comment down below which story you'd like to see in the next video. See you next time.